I've watched a ton of great movies and shows over the last 4 weeks. Here today, I've got 28 shows for the past 28 days, a wildly diverse list, ranked. Which ones have you not yet seen? And should you? Welcome to Fantasy for the Ages, the show where a father and son talk about fantasy, science fiction, horror, and other nerdy things that we enjoy. I'm Jim, the father of this show, coming at you with just a fun list for you. I haven't done a list in a while. I've got 28 movies and shows I'm going to talk about here today, and I think you're going to enjoy the episode. If you do, if I'm right, give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, check out our channel. You'll probably want to stick around. So, to be clear, I enjoyed all of these movies and TV shows. And you might, too. Might. But they're not all good movies. Some are high on the cheese, or really campy, or ridiculously unrealistic. So, I still had fun with them. Some of them are amazingly formulaic. You know what's coming next, but you can still find things in which to be entertained. Yet some on this list are really profound, deep, moving shows. Regardless of the style, these are 28 things I've watched over the past 4 weeks that kept me interested, that kept me watching. None of them led me to turn off the show. I've done reviews on just a couple of them so far. I will be reviewing most of these on the channel, but I just wanted to make a list today. It's my channel. I want to do something I'm going to enjoy. So here's a list which will give you a little taste, a little peek into this weird brain. Yes, this old guy can watch all of these kind of shows, actually find them to be fun, and still have my head not explode. Could you be like me? Maybe. Probably not. I'm kind of unique. Ask my son. He'll admit it. Then again, he's kind of weird too. But it gives me content to talk about. And let me go through these shows with you here. Now, nothing deep. Again, 28 shows I'm going to go through. I have ranked them from what I consider is the weakest of these shows I was entertained by to the absolute best. Just on my preference. How much I enjoyed these shows. This is not a deep analytical episode. I'm not doing reviews. I will give you the name of the show, the year it came out, and like a sentence about what it's about. And then maybe a couple comments and we're moving on. So pretty quick, let's jump into it and see what you might discover. Number 28 on the list, the bottom, the happy to be here, is Spiders, which came out in 2000. A journalist investigating a secret government lab uncovers a terrifying experiment involving genetically mutated giant spiders that escape and wreak havoc. Yeah, as cheesy and as bad as you might expect. It's got some moments. I was entertained. Number 27. You think spiders was something. How about Lavalantula? 2015. So 15 years later, better special effects? Well, a group of giant fire-breathing tarantulas. Eric Hahn, do you hear that? Tarantulas emerge from lava when Los Angeles suddenly has a volcano come up and then cracks all over the city with lava vents. Prompts a washed-up action star to lead a battle against the deadly arachnids. Steve Guttenberg starred in this. Man, this guy's fallen. But then again, he has a really good time. And again, there's some cheesy campiness in there, some definite cameos. Fun flick. Number 26, The New Mutants from 2020. This is part of the X-Men world here, so Marvel adjacent. 5 young mutants held in a secret facility against their will discover their abilities while confronting past sins and fighting for their survival. This movie really didn't do very well in theaters, and you can kind of see why. It's not the strongest of film, but I'm a fan of mutants. I found things to enjoy still. Still just 26. 25, Secret Invasion. 2023. This is a TV series, limited run, that was directly on the Disney Channel. A Marvel series where Nick Fury, uncovers a faction of shape-shifting Skrulls who have been infiltrating Earth for years. Okay, there's more to it than that, and this is based on a limited comic book series that I really enjoyed. The show's okay. It's got some great moments, and it's not the best. But still, I liked it, and, Nick Fury, man, Samuel L. Jackson, good stuff. Number 24, Dampier from 2022. This is an Italian fantasy action horror film. Set during the Balkan Wars of the early 1990s, it follows Harlan Draka, a con artist who pretends to be a vampire hunter, but discovers he is a half-human, half-vampire Dampier, destined to confront real vampires. Fantasy meets reality in a fantasy show. It's got some good stuff there, and also, again, some pretty cheap, cheesy stuff. Number 23, The Tomorrow War from 2021. A more serious science fiction kind of flick. A man is drafted to fight in a future war where humanity's survival depends on his ability to confront his past. It didn't do so well with critics. I think this just came out for Prime Video. It's rather predictable. It has huge plot armor for one of the characters in particular, but I still enjoyed it. Chris Pratt is the star, and it was worth my time. Number 22, Damsel. Just from this year, 2025, a young woman agrees in this fantasy film to marry a handsome prince, only to discover that the royal family intends to sacrifice her to repay an ancient debt. Millie Bobby Brown stars in this, and I think her performance demonstrates more of why, unlike what my son Zach thinks, she's not going to just be a fading child star. She's got some acting chops. Solid performance. Number 21, Salem's Lot from 2023. This is the remake of the adaptation Salem's Lot of Stephen King's original book from way back when. In this flick, a writer returns to his hometown of Jerusalem's Lot, only to find it overrun by vampires and get sucked into trying to save the day. I don't know, there's something about the original movie. While it didn't have very good effects, it had a gravitas to it that this one does lack a little bit, but this had some great special effects still. I enjoyed the movie. It didn't do well with viewers. There's reasons. Number 20, Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. This came out in 2015. 3 scouts and lifelong friends join forces with a tough cocktail waitress to save their town from a zombie outbreak. This movie is horribly irreverent, with every possible immature, stupid bit of humor that you can conceive of packed in here. It's like it's written for the adolescent male brain, and yet I couldn't look away. I mean, I love zombie apocalypse film, and this is a humorous take on the zombie apocalypse. It's very childish humor, and yet adult content at the same time. But seriously, look up dumb humor. You might find this film under the definition. But I was entertained. I'm embarrassed to say so. Number 19 is another zombie apocalypse flick, but of a more serious nature. Apocalypse Z, The Beginning of the End. A deadly virus turns most of the world's population into zombies, and a group of survivors must fight to stay alive. I enjoyed the book that this was based on. I read it years ago. It's a Spanish novel that had been translated into English. Likewise, this is a Spanish film based directly on the Spanish version of the novel, and I watched it dubbed to English. It was as good as the book. So, that's a winner. Number 18, Smile 2. This is a sequel to the 2022 horror film Smile that was fantastic. It takes what was great about the first film and tries to up the ante. It fails, but it was a decent attempt. There are some cool things about the movie, but it does not quite recapture the original. Still, great effects, good leaning into the psychological horror as well as the horror elements. Number 17, Long Legs, which is a brand new movie here in 2025. This is a horror thriller regarding a serial killer who somehow manipulates his victims to all die by murder-suicide. Family after family after family through the years. Terrifying. This is a disturbingly high quality film with great performances and some big stars showing up in it. It was solid and yet made me feel a little icky. Number 16, Cell, which came out in 2016. Mysterious cell phone signal turns people into mindless killers, prompting a group of survivors to journey through New England in search of safety. This is another Stephen King adaptation. The book is great. The movie adaptation has some slight differences, but they're both filled with Stephen King's typical twisted darkness. Number 15, The Mummy. I'm talking about the 2017 version with Tom Cruise, which was really heavily panned when it came out. I never watched it. I have now. When an ancient princess is awakened from her crypt beneath the desert, she brings with her a malevolent force and a centuries-old thirst for revenge. Sounds like a mummy movie. Dragging a soldier of fortune into a supernatural battle. I think the problem with this movie is it tries to flip things on their head. Let's make the mummy a woman. Let's make it be about a woman scorned. Let's try to still have humor in it, but be more serious. And it had an identity crisis and couldn't figure out what to do. There are some great special effects in the movie. At the same time, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But still made 15 on my list. I watched the whole thing and was entertained. I missed the 1999 version, though. Brendan Fraser, he nailed it. Number 14, Battle Royale from 2000. A group of Japanese high school students are forced to fight to the death by the government on a deserted island. I'm watching this going, isn't this the Hunger Games? Okay, I'm going to talk more about that when I do another episode just on Battle Royale, but this was a dark and twisted movie and a sneaker surprise for me this month. So Battle Royale, 14. Number 13, Diary of the Dead, a 2007 movie by George A. Romero. How did I not find this one back then? This one slipped by me. I love the Of the Dead films that Romero put out. This is a group of film students who document their struggle for survival during the zombie uprising that other movies have all been based on as well. It's really nicely done, high quality effects. A story is told. This one is worthy. See, we're getting high on the list now. We got some good movies. Number 12, Silent Hill, 2006. A mother searches for her adopted daughter in a mysterious town plagued by dark forces and terrifying creatures. It's based on the video game series, Silent Hill, and it does an exceptional job recreating the feel, the look, the creep of the game on the big screen. High quality production. Number 11, Ex Machina from 2014. A young programmer is selected to participate in a groundbreaking experiment in synthetic intelligence by evaluating the human qualities of a highly advanced humanoid AI. Fascinating science fiction film. Oscar Isaac in one of his earlier performances. This is fascinating. And as we watch AI getting more and more advanced, it's also a little bit terrifying. Number 10, speaking of terror, let's go to Abigail, which came out in 2024. A young ballet dancer is abducted by hired criminals, hidden in a remote mansion while their employer awaits the ransom. When it turns out this is actually a vampire movie, all bets are off. Surprisingly entertaining and fun flick with fantastic production value and incredible acting. Some big-time stars show up in this movie. But don't be afraid of some gore, because there's a lot of it in this flick. Now, this one's a cheat. I didn't watch this in the past 4 weeks. I watched it here this year, but I needed one more movie to get to 28. Okay, so I broke my rules. This was a great one to slip in because I haven't talked about it yet. Review will be coming. Number 9, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, 2011. In this 4th installment of the series, Ethan Hunt and his team go rogue to clear the organization's name after the IMF is implicated in the bombing of the Kremlin. It's a nice reboot after the original trilogy, which I watched and enjoyed, bringing in some new faces to blend with the old and moving into a new multi-movie story plot. I'd seen this one before, but none of the ones after it. So this made sense to be the one to restart my watching of the franchise as I get ready for what I think is going to be the last one to come out. And it was fantastic, terrific, very entertaining, and a lot of high energy. Number 8, The Boys, Season 4 on Prime Video. This came out here in 2024, and I finally watched it this month. It's the 4th season of the series, and if you've made it this far into the series, you know what you're getting. It continues to explore the dark and satirical world of superheroes and the vigilantes who aim to expose their dark secrets. More of the gore, raunchiness, and mayhem that you've come to expect from the boys. I waited far too long to finally get current on this. It was a nice step up from season 3, in my opinion. Number 7, The Batman from 2022. I kind of put this one off. I think I'd started it once back in 2022 and it didn't catch for me, and I don't know why now. Because this is a good movie. I mean, 7 on my list. Batman ventures into Gotham City's underworld when a sadistic killer leaves behind a trail of cryptic clues, uncovering corruption that connects to his own family. I didn't think I needed another Batman. It turns out our glittering vampiric Tri-Wizard tournament competitor actually turns out an awesome Dark Knight performance. I hope you got that. Number 6, Alien Romulus, 2024. I already do have a review out on this one. A group of young space colonists scavenging a derelict Weyland-Yutani space station encounters xenomorphs, leading to a desperate fight for survival. Everything you love in an alien movie on display with some great effects in this film. Number 5, The Wheel of Time, Season 3, which is coming out right now. I just watched episode 5 before coming in here to record. 3 more episodes in this season. The 3rd season continues the journey of Moraine Sedai and the Dragon Reborn and the friends around them all in their epic battle against the Dark One. This season, just over the halfway point, it's the first of the 3 seasons to have me chomping at the bit each week to see the next episode. I mean, stuff still ticks me off concerning certain adaptation choices. Honestly, I know the word is overused, but this show is the very definition of woke. I'm sorry, it is. But the story, regardless, is proving very compelling. Even for this, the books will always be better old guy watcher. It's turning into good, solid TV. Number 4, Nosferatu, the 2024 movie, where a young woman named Ellen becomes the object of an obsession for the ancient vampire Count Orlok, leading to a harrowing tale of horror and sacrifice, a retelling of the Dracula story. I also have an episode on Nosferatu out just recently. Number 3 is like nothing else on this list. It's a TV series my wife and I are obsessed with on Max, and it's called The Pit. I also watched its most recent episode right after The Wheel of Time before coming in here to record. So this is a fresh 2025 medical drama series that chronicles a single intense 15-hour shift in the emergency department of the fictional Pittsburgh Trauma Medical Hospital. It highlights the personal and professional challenges faced by the dedicated staff. If you're old enough to remember ER back in the day, yeah, this is ER on meth. It's so intense. And Noah Wiley was a young star in the later seasons of ER, and he is the main line on this show. It's terrific. Number 2, Contagion from 2011. I finally got around to watching this movie. It's about a fast-spreading virus that causes a global pandemic. Sound familiar? And healthcare professionals, government officials, and everyday people struggle to find a cure and to control the panic. It was eerily prescient of what life was like during the COVID pandemic. Even to the anti-vaxxers. I mean, it was weird watching this thing. How did they write the script ahead of time like this? But number 1, the last 28 days, is Wicked from 2024. An adaptation of the first 2/3 of the Broadway musical that reimagines the stories and characters from The Wizard of Oz, focusing on, and really from the book, Wicked, which is already a reimagining. Anyways, it focuses on the friendship between Elphaba, who becomes the Wicked Witch of the West, and Glinda, the Good Witch. Somehow, it's incredibly better than the live musical. I was shocked. I've seen the musical, very good, very impressive. This thing, what they can do on the screen, what they pulled off from the set, from the big production numbers, from the beautiful choreography and staging, from just the little details of humor in the acting, and our actresses who are playing Elphaba and Glinda, killing it. I can't believe, with all the kinds of things I like, that Wicked is number one on my list, but it's that good. So there you go. What do you think? Which have you seen and enjoyed from my list of 28? Are any of these ones you watched and you couldn't stand and you're shocked I still thought they were good in some manner? Share in the comments. And if you've been blown away by other movies or shows over the past month, feel free to make your recommendations. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.